Hello YouTube, I'm back. Welcome to Before You Pull FR Shinryu edition, and we are kicking off strong with Kain BT. Amazing character, I love this character. Warrior Light's getting BT 2, and Mog and Penelo are getting C90s. I'm going to be talking about all of them, so let's get started, shall we? In this video, before you pull on the Kain FR banners, I'm going to review the units and use that information to guide my suggestions for y'all. If you're new to the channel, I play both versions of the game, and I use that experience as a base for how I look at things. I want to hear your thoughts though, so be sure to leave a comment with your plans for the content that is coming soon. Also, while you're here, like the video, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell so you don't miss a video. I have been streaming more recently. I stream polls and events, and those are tons of fun live, so come through for those. If you become a channel member for $1, I'll always reply to your comments and you get special emotes. Lastly, I have a bi-weekly talk show, the Ranting Hour, where I talk about some more in-between stuff. It gets pretty funny, so be sure to check that out as well. So before I kick everything off, I've been alluding to me bringing these videos back for the new era, and I really put my foot down and said, yeah, I'm gonna do it. It was fun. So I'm back. Garbage time is over. A new weapon tier and a new difficulty is upon us. This is a more high-level evaluation. Potencies, number of brave attacks, and refund percentages, overflows, blah blah. All this stuff is minor, and I really want to focus on the big picture, the stuff that affects like most of your damage, which is force and the nuance between kits. That's what I'm here to evaluate, okay? Second order thinking is big. You can say on one level, okay, this character does this and it's better than this, whatever, but how they do it, that's the really good stuff. I think back to the constant skip X tank for Y tank that always goes on in this community because everything's basically the same thing, and that nuance is so important for us, and I really want to highlight that with my evaluations. The videos are going to be short and sweet per usual. I'm not going to talk for an hour, Jesus. Tackling things event by event, so if there's 2 banners at once, I'll talk about them all. The force character is going to get the most focus, but I'll talk about everyone. The format is a work in progress, however, so please give me feedback. But for real, like and subscribe. My channel stalled immediately after stopping these. Like I was at like 4.8K, and then like it's just been like that for 3 months. So let's see if I can hit 5K. All right, so share this around. Without further ado, we're 2 minutes in already. Let's get started. So kicking it off, Kain. Overview of his kit. He's a range damage dealer. He's getting selfish true evasion when he's in the air. He does a bunch of off-turn damage. He does launch and he does self-delay. Something I didn't mention earlier is I'm not gonna be focusing on reworks because usually they aren't that significant. People do more damage or do something better. Unless it's something significant, I'm not gonna really talk about it. But Kain, his rework makes him do 2 AoE HP attacks in midair, which is good. And he has better damage on the ground. Now that's the gist of it. So let's keep going. His FR condition, he joins up with Aranea, and while force time is active for 10 turns, every time anyone does a range attack, the HP percent bonus goes up by 5%. This also includes off turns, and also if the whole party partakes in a launch, so 1, 2, 3, all 3 of them partake in a launch, then that is another 5%. So team options that would work really well for Kain would be Cisne, because she's always got that off-turn range damage going. Keiss is bringing range damage and helping everybody launch. Selfie enabling more launches. Prompto has range damage. He has an additional follow-up after party turns. Freya filling the same role as Kain in midair, doing off-turn range damage. And Sid from 7, because he occasionally does that off-turn range attack as well. Unfortunately, I'm sure this is like the worst guarded secret. It's not even a secret, I don't know what I'm talking about. Kain's FR percentages get crept within a BT cycle due to Cam and the redesign of how they went about doing forces. So his FR ultimately is not that great after Cam's cycle starts-ish. But in these first 2 weeks, Kain's FR is going to be pretty powerful for punching through bosses and not taking forever. So his burst, he's also getting a burst weapon. It is 8 turns, and 8 turns really doesn't do it justice because Kain has that self-delay when he jumps in the air, and it can pretty much last the entire battle if you manage it right, especially if he goes twice with his burst and his burst finisher. He's got 40% overflows on both. I don't really notice that as much, but he got brave damage 50%, HP damage 20%, and HP cap 30%. That's a lot for a damage dealer like Kain. Kain also has the attacker type high armor split that leans in the HP damage direction. So this actually scales incredibly well for Kain and forces as a whole. This is one of the best BTs in the game solely because of how long it can potentially last, how much Kain can contribute. It's very good, very vanilla, but very, very good. You don't want to have Kain without his BT. It's a horrible idea. So to evaluate Kain, He has strengths in that he's a call holder. This makes him fit in pretty much any team because you can give him, say you have an elemental FR, a force that needs a condition like Sabin, who needs Holy and Wind. You could throw an Ash Call on Kain, have him jump, and you don't have to worry about the entire party hitting Holy for pretty much the rest of the fight. He can hit modified Brave and HP force conditions simply because his W jump counts as one. He's got great on and off turn damage. His BT lasts forever, like I said, and he's got that true evasion because he's up in the air and he can help dodge things potentially. Weaknesses: timing his jumps may not. This isn't really a weakness, but you need to time his jumps. Maybe if you're trying to get a force set up right, and it might not go the way you want, so you really got to think a couple turns ahead in order to nail that, or else it might be awkward. As I said before, his force ages poorly. It's just the way it is. Force boards, not to be confused with force enhancements, are going to be a thing, and they will probably improve him then. But even beyond that, like, he is just evergreen as a unit. So his FR aging poorly is not a big deal, and it might even be a plus because you don't need his FR for him to be good. Lastly, he has a spear, and while the spear ultimate weapon will increase his damage substantially, having one just for Kain, you might not want to justify it if you can use other units. However, from my JP's perspective, I made a spear for Kain, and I have not been able to get rid of it because Kain is just that good and that much fun, in my opinion. Now, moving on to the next unit, Warrior of Light. He's getting a 90 rework, more damage, buff start, etc. He's a lock tank. He does mostly range damage with melee damage on his skill 1. He's got Brave Shields to prevent you from taking Brave damage. HP damage mitigation based on the value of these shields. Nothing will get to you. He protects you like crazy. He's got Party Battery, and he's got Brave Gain Up. His burst, 8 turns now, because both overflows 50%. Massive Brave regen based on his shields. Party HP damage 20%. HP cap, total 35% if he's blue, but just 20% on the BT. And Brave gains up by 50%, so similar to Ishtola and Furion and Kieran, I believe. And Garnet too? I don't know. Anyways, strengths-wise, strong mitigation. He's got amazing call abilities. You can put shields up twice, and the LD call ability can prevent you from taking damage outright based on the shield. Battery, Brave gains up, and even if you don't have his BT, he can do his job just as an LD unit, which is very, very strong. Unfortunately, he's got low damage. His high turn rates might screw you over during force time because you don't want him taking all the turns because of said low damage. And he doesn't have a counter, and it might be more valuable if you're not taking lethal HP damage constantly to bring a tank that has more off-turn ability and just does more damage. Think counter tanks. That doesn't mean Warrior Light can't be used with them, but pros and cons, and damage is a larger pro than less damage, you feel me? Let's keep going. Now Penelo. Penelo's getting a C90. She hasn't gotten anything in a while. She has a support, battery. She gives a lot of framed party buffs. Brave regen, HP regen, speed up. I think it's 3 total. I don't remember the exact number. But she provides a debuff cleanse on her LD, and she'll also be blocking out buffs unless the enemy strip. She'll be blocking out debuffs because she buffs the entire party with frame buffs. And she has instant turns, which makes her a gauge charger. And also on it, her EX doesn't charge the gauge like crazy, but it is also an instant turn. So if you need to abuse that, there it is. So, strengths-wise, she's a good charger, like I mentioned. She's got a high HP regen. In her wall stance, I believe her HP regen goes up to 30%, which I believe is Lena levels, which is very, very strong. Your HP goes up fast. She has modified Brave and HP attacks that she primarily uses for her damage, so look, hit those conditions for like, Yuna, Charlotta, Aerith. The other ones are, Machina has that as well, so Penelo fits into those comps. She's got 20% HP cap on her high armor plus, so she's a good blue, definitely scales well. And she's got cleanse on her LD call. Unfortunately, weakness wise, all those buff slots can potentially conflict with party members. Her damage isn't the greatest. I think she's got 3 HP attacks max on her good HP plus, and I think her EX is 5 HP attacks. So she's not contributing that much damage, but she's a support, so she's not meant to, but she can charge the gauge. Party speed up can be a detriment if you're running an off-turn team and she charges the gauge and gets out, they might still be stuck with her party speed up. And dagger, if you're trying to optimize her damage, dagger is not the most popular ultimate weapon type. Moving on, Mog, he's a support-ish, kind of a hybrid. He provides party battery as well. He does thunder and water range damage. He's got burst and regen heals. HP regen is like 10%, I believe. He's got debuff cleanse follow-up after every attack, and he can provide an RNG confuse. Strengths-wise, he's got tons of cleanse. Because his cleanse is not tied to a skill like Yuna, Yuffie, or Penelo, I just talked about her. He can cleanse pretty often, so if the enemy spamming debuffs, he's pretty good at that. He's a hybrid, so he does decent damage. I believe he has at least 5 HP attacks on all of his skills, so that's good. He has Thunder and Water if you ever need to hit Thunder and Water conditions, so like Cryle, Rydia, Beatrix down the line. Those FRs all hit he hits those elements, and he's got the constant cleanse, and he can do it on his LD call as well because the follow-up will activate because he has buff start. Unfortunately, Thunder and Water is also a weakness because it ties him to those elements. So if you're trying to run an elemental FR, he will just not work on that team if he's in the party at the moment. You can't rely on the RNG Confuse. Spear is not a popular weapon unless you have Kain, in which you might want to keep it 5 out of 5 forever. And his HP regen is not the greatest. Next up, talking about the last 2 units on the banner. These units are not getting upgrades, but they're there, so I'll talk about them real quick. Keiss, launch support, provides party battery. He puts his turn behind other members, and he can do an extra HP attack with battery in midair. Range damage, turn manipulation. He delays the enemies on his EX as well. He's got special midair attacks, like I mentioned, and he guarantees the party can crit. And I didn't write this down, but he can also prevent the party from getting broken. So launch support, he's helping out in midair, providing tons of battery. He's got the range damage on deck. You can drop his debuff, and his debuff provides party brave refund after launches take place. So if you're abusing like Rain's call or selfie in the party, and you want even more refund afterwards, his call on his debuffs from his call are amazing. He's got turn manipulation, like I said, and party crits, so yeah, he excels there if you need the party to crit. I think Lilith and Tifa are the only ones that need party crits, so there's an option there. Fortunately, Keiss, his kit is a bit outdated. Dagger, once again, is not popular, and his damage isn't the greatest. He's not there to do damage, but his damage enabling isn't the greatest either at this point. And Selfie, that's not really a weakness, it's more me making fun of Keiss, but Selfie kind of put him in the dirt. I'm sure with Keiss's FR, he'll probably get like 3 HP attacks in midair finally, and then have a place over Selfie, but right now, not much time, not very easy to justify him in the party lately. And last we have Prompto, who's a bit of a support hybrid. He has a party ranged follow-up. He has evasion plus lock. Don't start the tank discussion, I beg. He's got decent HP regen, 20% I believe. Heals, I mentioned that twice. And he's got instant break on his follow-up attack that he does after the party acts. So strength, evasion, he can dodge some fatal attacks, that's cool. And that additional damage tacking on can help some conditions like Kain or other range conditions, for example. He's got a high potential damage on his EX because he has a ton of HP attacks, and he's got instant break on his follow-up, so if you need a break there for some reason, he got you there. Unfortunately, he's still also a bit outdated. The boss is unbreakable, the Prompto is just dead in the water. He's got a gun ultimate weapon, so that's not the most popular type, so if you're not leaning into that, Prompto might not look too great, especially with this low HP attacks on his skills and just low personal damage overall. So, before you pull on this banner, coming in at 15 minutes now. Considering I talked a bit at the beginning, we're doing pretty good. So, per usual, this is aimed at people unable to decide. More objective take. If you love some character to death, I don't really care. Do what you want. If you're broke, I always advise to use the community so you can optimize your runs without spending. Use FOO tip, FFOO tip, and other forecasts if you're looking to pick someone up later when they return. So first I'm going to give my plans. I personally plan to gem the Kain banner as I'm missing a lot on there. I don't have Kain's BT, I don't have his LD, I don't have his FR, I don't have Mog's kit either, so that's a good gem banner for me. I also have a lot of gems and spend money on the game. I plan on having Kain's FR max because those first 3 fights, you can do them without FR, but it is much easier to do them with an FR in your party, for real. I think that's going under the radar. Just because it's possible doesn't mean it's simple. That being said, I want to get Kain. I've used him tons in JP and I've not gotten bored of him. I'm still using him. I actually have a problem. I cannot stop using him, and I plan to possibly convert my gun ultimate weapon to a spear just to make those Kain runs easier, because that fight gives me PTSD. That being said, what are my overall recommendations for the banner? I would recommend, if you can get Kain's BT and his LD, you've got an evergreen unit pretty much like 8 months from now. He's still amazing. Can't be understated. If you can just get his LD and token him, you don't need his FR. It's nice to have for those first 2 weeks, but I wouldn't recommend anybody max him out, especially if you're newer and don't have enough power stones. I have like 1,500 power stones, so I'm good. I can take that. I also don't know how they're gonna handle the rewards in GL. Prompto, one gun for him. Mog, yeah, again, spear, and then being element locked, it might screw us over in later. I don't plan any ranged or like or water or thunder conditions, I'd rather just bring a call instead of having Mog. So I can't really recommend Mog for anything hitting any conditions right now. That may change down the line, but right now, no. As for the Warrior of Light banner, this is an excellent banner for calls. Warrior Light's LD call is amazing. Having both those shields, having them on deck, even having him in the party potentially if you're getting jacked up a lot by fights. Great to have. Penelo having that cleanse on deck, very good, although that's lower priority. But Keiss's LD call, enabling launch and battery strats even further. Say if you're doing the Camlinaut exploit down the line and you're doing a lot of launches and summon and you don't have a selfie in the party to battery your teammates afterwards, having that Keiss LD call on so you can get refund and get better launches, great. So overall, I'd recommend people pick up Kain's LD and BT. Oh yeah, and actually let me take that back a little. Penelo is an excellent gauge charger down the line. So early gauge chargers include Penelo, Ignis, and Kryl. Penelo having that 20% HP cap, and personally her hitting the Braven HP conditions makes her a little bit more attractive to me than Ignis, because Ignis, while he can also hit those conditions, his high turn rate is tied to the one with the most HP attacks. And Penelo, I'm going to be bluing Penelo. I might dagger eventually because I plan investing in Reno, but see, Penelo's a great gauge charger. Warrior Light, while he's not as desirable in the party as he used to be, is a great LD call, and Keiss is a great LD call. So I think if you've got tickets to throw, I try and grab all three of these LDs on the other banner. Warrior Light's BT, you could probably skip out on that. I don't know if I recommend that, but then Kain's BT and LD, and you've got a really good set of units that hit a bunch of things. All right. This video was what, like 18 minutes long? A little bit long, but I talked a bit more than I expected to. I'm trying to nail down the format and get it through a little bit quicker because y'all know how I do. All right, that being said, those are my recommendations for this set of banners event. The Kryl and Braska video should be shorter because I'll be talking about less. Let me know what you guys think. Glad to be back. Again, throw some support, share this video around, spread the word that I'm doing these videos again, because I like I like the feedback. All right, thanks everyone. Have a great day. I'll catch you later. Good luck on the polls. I won't be streaming the live stream, but I'll be streaming my polls afterwards. So again, hit the notification bell, like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. Catch y'all later. Peace.